That now they can hear me. Hi everyone.
Can you hear them?
I had the thing muted.
My parents thought I was a technical difficulty.
Whoa, big same.
I'm just kidding.
So, which headset do you have, Fingerquick?
Oh, that looks like red or yellow.
Red. Okay, so.
Oh, this one's yellow.
Give it a talk and see if we can hear you.
Yeah, I'm super
Okay.
comfy right now.
Okay,
Dude,
yeah.
he looks so comfy.
You're hella comfy back there. We're comfy here.
I'm
The
not
game's not
comfy.
making any audio right now, is it?
No, hold on. It might be my settings, though. I doubt it.
It might be my settings. I might.
This should have audio. The music is, turned on. At home, I play without audio because I find it very, very tedious. It will become very repetitive very soon.
So we should be hearing game audio right now?
I can't hear it.
Yeah, no, we can't hear it.
Oh, I hear it.
Wait,
you
you
hear it?
No.
Oh, yeah, get out of here.
Please stop messing with me.
Get out of
Trolled
here.
you. Got him.
It's very bright in here. Yeah, he's going to nap, commentate, and if you hear snoring, we'll take the headset off.
Yeah.
If we get a donation, we'll add a third pillow. One pillow per donation. We will raid. The fourth donation, someone gets to add whatever they want, a mattress. 2 mattresses.
Please.
I want to have the webcam just filled with mattresses behind me. Can we Photoshop that in?
I'm going to try it. No, that we still got no audio. Why is there no game audio?
In a somewhat rhythm game, pseudo-rhythm game.
It's a rhythm alien game.
The first one is very much a rhythm game, yes. Do you see me fiddling with the audio?
Yeah, I can see it,
Well, it's set, so I don't...
but we can't hear it.
Hold on. It might be the Windows sound settings. Hold on. Let me look at the volume mixer.
Oh, yeah.
No, this is all the way.
Is it using the right audio device, though?
Which one should it be?
Not speakers. It should be like something like monitor or something like that, or NVIDIA output.
NVIDIA high.
That maybe. Yeah, try the NVIDIA one.
I'm on that one. I've got nothing. How about that one?
Well, so that didn't. Okay, set to the NVIDIA one and then relaunch the game.
Okay.
Hi. Still nothing.
Still nothing. Last time it was very loud.
Oh, I hear it this time.
Oh, I hear it this time now, yeah.
We do.
I'm not trolling this time.
Today's thrilling.
There we go.
I also heard it.
I hear it now. Hi, Charles.
And now it's time for
Tell us all
Big
about
Trip
it.
Presents Runner2, future legend of Rhythm Alien.
I love you, Charles.
Okay, so with that,
Can we turn that down just a slight bit?
Yeah,
Thank
that
you.
can go.
Yeah.
I think that's the right one.
When last
I think it should be okay. I think I'll be okay with that.
Yeah, that's okay. Oh, I thought I had the wrong slider. And with that, we're actually kind of ready to get started here. So let's get things going as quickly as possible so we can try to get back on schedule. Maybe.
You know what? If I world record, then we're cool.
Cool. All right. So give me a countdown when you're ready to go.
3, 2, go.
Sure.
Well, actually, I gotta wait until I go into the first level. But
All right. Yeah. Just let me know when I hit start on the timer.
All right, ready, go. All right, welcome everybody to the Welcome Wonderland. We're gonna skip the cutscene because that's 2 minutes. We'll never get back. I'm Vagoo. The man laying down on a pile of chairs is Fingerquick.
Sitting here mega comfy watching this.
This is your first tutorial of the game. You'll be taught how to jump. We are going to skip all the gold that we can because it is useless to us. It will create a 30-second delay at the end of every level. I like rhythm games. I don't really consider this a rhythm game, but there is music.
It looks kind of like a platformer.
It's an auto-scroller platformer. We are going to hit all the checkpoints because if I screw up, I have to go back to the beginning of the level, and I do not want to screw up. So we're just going to hit all the checkpoints because I'm a little girl. I'm so scared of failure. And taxes. I'm terribly afraid of taxes. And my 401k this last quarter. Oh my goodness. Well, you can't be really scared of something that they take without asking, right? All right, that was level 1. We literally just jumped a bunch. I'll dance a little at the end there. That's about it. This is what you do. You avoid gold, and when we get to the later levels, I will literally just avoid doing what the game wants me to do because it's not efficient.
Wait, so what was the reason you were avoiding the gold? Did you explain that?
Okay, so I'll show you when we get to the boss stage, but if I wanted to lose 20 seconds, I'm not going to avoid every piece of gold, just one per level. If you get all the gold, you get shot out of a cannon at the end of the level, which is 30 seconds about. That's unskippable, and it's not worth it. It is if you want the 100% completion, which I have, but we are not going to do that. First few levels are really simple. Like, there are a lot of just jumping over these little dudes. They'll add more as you go along. In, like, tutorial levels that are super duper, like, hey, you learned how to slide. Like, okay, this whole level just features sliding, because why wouldn't it? How bored do you want to get with the same game mechanic? Hopefully we'll get to a part that I really like, where instead of all these descending ones, you'll get ascending stairs. Those are really fun. And you can dance by pressing the right trigger, so we're just going to dance. Oh. That's all I got. And every time, it's an amazing accomplishment. This game is so wonderful.
Nice.
Have you heard of this game before today?
Well, actually, maybe the name sounds familiar, but I've never actually played it or seen any gameplay.
I was going to say, I got this game in college for some reason, and I immediately fell in love with it. And I don't know, for me, it's just a lot of fun. So again, we're just going to try to skip a piece of gold every level. It's hard to train my brain to do that, and if I screw that up this run, I'll donate $25. I don't think I'll screw that up, but there's a chance. I only heard about half of that. So this level is all about the glide jump, where you glide jump. You can get the little red checks, the red health crosses. They make your trail behind you look all cool. I will go for those because they're cool. Because then you light up and like, ooh, look at it, I got a rainbow trail. It's very pretty, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
And there you go, amazing accomplishment. Classic. Unfortunately, it kind of sucks that I have a completed 100% save file, because like you won't get to see the like path create itself, but the black or brown, depending on, I don't know, it's yellow parchment. I guess if it was ink, it kind of would go brown with fading, but let's not go into the semantics of ink. Over time, that path will have normally like shown up, but since I have a completed save file, we're just going to follow what the path is anyway. Because it is the quickest, and there are secret levels that branch off the path. You can collect character costumes. I believe I'm wearing the Power Glove costume right now, which is just Commander Video's base skin with a Power Glove. There are 5 or 6 playable characters, a lot of costumes, a lot of cool things. But we will not showcase any of that, because that is not conducive to an any percent. And there we go. Amazing accomplishment. This game is so praiseworthy. I mean, you beat one level every time. It's so amazing. It's a great accomplishment. It's like, wow. I mean, I'm excited for the run that's after mine, so maybe I shouldn't, I should focus on mine more. We get the slide mechanic now. We're going to abuse that throughout the entire run, because it is the easiest way to avoid everything.
Oh, nice.
Later on, you'll see there are dash, block attacks, like fireballs that come at you. And let's just say it is the easiest thing to just slide under them. You don't have to do this when you can just do this. And we will just hold the slide as long as possible.
So how many different, mechanics are in this game that you unlock?
There's a dash, a block. My favorite mechanic is the slide for sure. And when you are playing on harder difficulties, a lot of the time to collect all of the gold pieces, you'll have to do some quick like this while underneath segments to kind of pop out and get the gold. It's not so difficult now because the levels are pretty sprawling and the enemy density is a lot less. I think the enemy density on harder difficulty is tripled. This is showing us to get the costume. We're going to avoid that because I own the costume. And we're just going to go home. Well, I don't know, like, there's a house back there. It's floating on 2 hot air balloons. This is my least favorite stage, the up world. I really like the one after this, the bobbing along bed knobs and broomsticks briny sea area. I really like that one a lot because there's weird little dudes, barrels with faces, but we'll see them later. We're going to collect this key for no reason because I already have all the costumes. Keys will open chests if you were playing this game correctly. So there's your first fireball, which normally you would block like this. But we're not going to do that. Oh, wait, no, you can't block those, sorry. Later on, you can block, there's like little square projectiles. So that was a mistake for no reason. But I forgot they haven't taught us the block mechanic. It's still slide. Whoops. But you will slide past, like you'll get like these little cubes that you can deflect, and they give you points. So the goal of completing this game, like getting all the gold, is to get a bunch of points, but we really don't want that. Sometimes I'll dance for just a little swag where you just, oh, look at me, I'm dancing right in front of a fireball. Terribly dangerous, flirting with disaster. Probably shouldn't do that a lot, but who cares? It is funny, and I have played this game. I have 50 hours in this game, and that's more than I'd like to admit, but less than I deserve. So 1 mistake so far. My world record run has 3 mistakes on the whole, so like we're already doing terribly. So yeah, this is the part of the game where you just hold the slide button because it doesn't matter. Just slide past the obstacles. It's an amazing accomplishment. There is a wind turbine on top of a wind-powered platform. Can anyone explain that to me? Scientists in the chat, please explain how wind power powers wind. Perpetual wind. The level names are kind of cool. This one's called Circus Circus. This is kind of a fun mechanic. It's called the trace. You trace with the right stick. Literally in any percent, I could stand with my fingers off the controller for that because it doesn't matter. Okay, maybe I should make sure the controller works. Okay. Hold on. I'm having some technical controller difficulty here. There we go. Okay. I was going to say, I went to jump. It did not work. We're good to go. So you kind of trace those. They're not important. Failing to trace them does not send you back to the beginning of the level. So it's kind of like why is it in here? I mean, it makes the game look aesthetically pleasing, but it's already a pretty nice game to look at, in my opinion. So, you know, I don't know why they have to add that in. I think it's just to give you a little bit extra to do when you're already kind of running around, jumping over these little, like, Goomba dudes with spike helmets. I don't know if they're Goombas or not. Now, that is the creepiest looking pink dude, if you see back there. Not a fan. That man is not, he's not attractive to me. In fact, I don't know if, like, weird pink lumps can have that are formed out of cloud can have any sort of identity, but they're cloud people, I guess. Yeah, Kirby is a cloud. Yeah, that's fair. Are you enjoying your nap back there? Oh, he's like leaned up.
Oh,
Ooh.
yeah.
I'll paint you later.
Yeah, I was going to take a nap, but this game has my full attention right now.
Excellent. I don't know. This is just a nice casual game, and I think for me, I was talking earlier before the run started about I kind of feel like the speedrun of the game ruins aspects of like the enjoyment of the difficulty where instead of just avoiding obstacles, you take them all on because you want to get these hard pieces of gold. This is probably the most used mechanic in the game besides jump is the kick. You will murder these cardboard stop sign dudes that fold out at you. And don't tell me it's not murder, you're smashing them into smithereens. So Commander Video is at least should be a convicted felon 100 times over, but that's okay. There is no court of law in the BitTrip universe. And again, like a lot of the time I feel like I'm just gonna not do anything and let the game run down these stairs because there's no point in pressing a button in the speed run. In the 100% category, which would take like 6 hours to run and would not be worth the time, you would want to be making all of those jumps precise so that you could time the gold pieces as you land, which would take like a short jump, a long jump, a short jump, a long jump. It would be pretty enjoyable. And then we're gonna dance. Would you care to get up and do the dance?
What kind of dance does he do? Just a dance?
He does a couple. He does like a loop. There's one where he does like I don't know what you'd exactly call that.
Is there like DLC where he does the floss?
Actually, if we get a chance, before we go into the next world, I will try to change character for the fun of it, because there are 5 playable characters. If you would like, you can have choice finger quick. Would you like to play as Commander Video Girl, Wet Fart Cheeseburger, Picasso?
You got me at Wet Fart Cheeseburger.
That is his name. Cheeseburger, not burger.
Oh, Cheeseburger. Wet Fart Cheeseburger.
Wet Fart.
Yeah,
And
you got me at him.
the spelling will maybe surprise you, and we will try to make that as quick as possible. I gave myself 15 extra minutes of time because the run should take 145, and hopefully just showing off some of the cool characters. Reverse Merman is also a character. He is, as he sounds, a reverse merman. Fish on top, man on bottom. That's a classic thing, you know. So maybe we will do that in between screens because why not? It's just kind of fun. I hope I'm on the right difficulty. I totally kind of spaced on that, but I'm pretty sure the game starts you on just right. And if not, what does it matter?
Well.
If you have questions about the game, I don't have many answers. Like, the one cool piece of trivia, I guess, is that Charles Martinet, the voice of Mario, does the narrating for the game. And that's kind of cool to me.
Oh, yeah, I heard you mentioning that earlier. I think he also does the voice of character in Jet Set Radio Future, too.
So this is another fun mechanic that I like, where you use these little springboards to get extra height to collect gold. Usually it takes you to the gold path. I would not advise skipping them because most of the time they are just good and they will help you avoid obstacles that otherwise you would have to jump over. Or in the case of like earlier, there was a wall that would have been unavoidable, and we probably don't want to run into a wall at full speed. I don't know about you, but I've heard that's painful.
I'm guessing the one that you just skipped back there was just because it wasn't next to a wall.
It wasn't next to a wall, and it's just not really optimal. Now, granted, in this game, there is no set speed. You do not go any faster or slower by going in the air. So realistically, you could just do anything you want. Sliding also does not slow you down. The game always progresses at the same pace, as far as I know, unless someone wants to test that. Like, as far as I know, it just goes at the same speed every time. So he does a ballerina twirl there if you want to do that. Oh, no, this controller. Okay, don't touch the thing. Okay. My bad.
Something like this?
Yeah, that's a good twirl. Don't get caught in the cords, though. We're having too much fun at 2 in the morning now? 2:10, oof. If you see there's my friend on Steam, please do not, like, message him unless you really want.
Speaking of having fun at 3 in the morning, we have a donation in. We've got $3 from Bahamut X saying Kirby time, which,
Kirby.
if I'm not mistaken, means it's time to throw a Kirby plushie.
Oh, let's do it.
Whoa!
That was right in the earphone.
That was heavy and right in the head.
Oh. I'm so glad that was not at a point where I had to jump. Thank you for the donation. Oh my goodness. So, like, right there, the slide was just absolutely, like, the 100% the play. Like, you just skip all the nonsense you just don't want to deal with. That was a 4 stair. I think we're going to get, like, a 15 stair. And, like, for the longest time, I had a rock candy controller that the A button got stuck in. Don't ask me how the A button got so sticky. I don't know. The controller was $10, but anyway. Every time I would try to go for precise little, like, half jumps, my controller would get stuck and I'd run into a wall and I'd scream. So, and now we're offline. We cannot see Dillbob anymore. It's really unfortunate. The last mechanic, which is my least favorite, is the bounce. Timing these sometimes for me towards the end of the run can be just a pain in the butt because they are like pixel perfect. If you hit the edge of that, you are going back to start. Do not collect $200. Cry to your mother and tell her that you love her. The nice part is once you get on the first one, you don't have to do anything. They take you immediately to the next platform. So hitting the first part of the jump is the only crucial thing. And that's Uncle Dill. We can also play as Uncle Dill, and I think we will. Because he is a pickle, and I like pickles. Pickles in chat, if you like pickles, that would be great. Tell me how much you like pickles as well. What's your favorite flavor? Mine is bread and butter. I don't know if that's like just a Midwestern thing, but I'm definitely all about the bread and butter pickles.
I really like dill.
Dill? All right. You know what? You can't fault the classic. You got a brand?
Not really, just dill
Okay,
in
okay.
general. You know, you can't go wrong with a classic.
That's fair. I mean, Vlasic's pretty good. That's the tastiest crunch I've ever heard. All right, we are 2 levels away from the boss. The bosses in this game are kind of... I don't know. They're just kind of a thing. I feel like they detract from like the overall experience of just like having fun doing the levels. So there's the block mechanic I was talking about. We will rarely use that because this is easier than blocking.
Wait, is this the boss level?
No, this
The
is
next
the,
one?
the second 2 after this.
Oh, okay.
The bosses are like they are auto scrollers and they usually have phases to them.
Are they any different than like these levels?
Yes, they are generated differently because the boss will generate different attacks depending on what boss they are. And I think they're unique, but they certainly to me are just kind of like, they feel like, do you really need a boss in an auto-scrolling, platforming, rhythm jumping, I don't know what to classify this game. As well with the game, the name of the game is super long, and I don't know why they've decided to do that, but I love it. I'm glad we've only made one mistake and only unplugged the controller 3 times, though. Like, shout-outs to that. And now we dance because we know we've defeated the boss. No, he does a walk like an Egyptian. He does a couple twirls. It looks like a sow cow, but I could be wrong. I mean, I'm not a figure skating expert. If anybody is, please let me know. Tell me about it. I'm more of a curling guy when it comes to the Winter Olympics. In case you're not from Minnesota, we celebrated Miracle on Ice, and that was a huge thing in the news, I guess. I don't really know. I do like hockey, though. Just international hockey, it's pretty one-sided to me. Much like international basketball, there are like 1 or 2 powerhouse teams that just run away with it. And that just feels kind of sad to me. I mean, of course, we're all familiar with the greatest winter sports and Olympic team, which is the Jamaican bobsled team. And we're all aware of that. I don't really know what to talk about. Do you want to talk about like anything in particular? Do you have like a certain like go-to topic?
So the name of this game is, what is it again? Like, it's the second, right? Is this like a sequel?
This is a sequel to Bit Trip Runner, and Runner 3 is the sequel to this, which I have played and enjoyed. This is Bit Trip Presents Runner2, the future legend of Rhythm Alien.
Oh.
For no reason, they've named it like this. And we are almost through World 1. We will go to the Stratosphere. This is a boss. It tells you. Look at that. I don't know. I'm pointing a lot with my hands. Stream, if you like that, I mean, no, I'm not Italian, but I do like to gestate a lot with my hands. Gesticulate, you know, it feels good. So this guy's kind of cool. He's like a revolver plane, a revolver biplane, and I think that's pretty sweet. I mean, the boss designs are cool, but they're more or less just kind of doing what you've done before. They'll generate a pattern usually, and then, you know, you'll react to said pattern. And I have to remember, okay, yeah, this one's just go up and he'll smash into that. Most of the boss fights are 3 stages, which kind of is like a classic video game trope, right? Rule of 3, let them be. This boss is pretty easy compared to his very hard mode like fight. The very hard mode fight is ridiculous because it's just like you have to keep going at this for like a good minute straight, this last volley, and like one mistake, you just easily get annoyed. And the windows for like doing these jumps are a lot tighter. Like I kind of have a lot of leeway right now to just kind of screw around, and that's fine, but...
Is it still 3 waves on the hardest difficulty?
Yes, it is still 3 waves. They're all just longer, and generally they have more shots to them. So this is what I was talking about. We've skipped this up to this point, but every boss fight will have this gosh dang cannon. So in order to complete the game 100%, you will have to shoot out of the cannon and hit a bullseye. For the sake of the speedrun, we are just going to shoot out the cannon immediately into the abyss.
Dude,
Normally, you
I don't
go
know,
for
that was
bullseye.
pretty close. You almost hit that target.
I mean, almost.
The Emerald Prime.
Hold on. Let us, oh, you know what? I'm going to go right back
The
into this.
Emerald Prime.
All right, we are going to go on to the next character for funsies because why not? We will go Commander Video Girl, and she's going to look like a rebel. Oh, no, you wanted Wet... You know, Wet Fart needs to be saved. Wet Fart needs to be saved for a cool area. This is my favorite level because of the cute little barrels in the back with their little faces. I think they're cute. Whoever made that decision is the best. We've got the tutorial to dance. If you've been watching, I've been dancing the whole time. The best part about this game is that it doesn't hamper you down with it lets you do all of the controls before you're taught them, and I love that about video games. I wish more were like that. I'm looking at you, Red Dead 2. Why did I have to get to Chapter 4 to be able to do everything? Seriously, you get 30 hours of game time in that game, and then they're finally like, oh yeah, the saloon is a place. Would you like to play cards? You're like, yeah, I wanted to play cards like three or 4 hours ago, you know? Tired of riding around with Charles hunting stuff with my bow and arrow. I also really like the aesthetic of like how they blended in like docks with shipping containers and cargo crates. Just really like this like beach setting. It's really nice. And we'll do some dancing at the end. There's not much to like really say about strats for this game. Like the strat is just don't screw up. Is that a strat? Like, would you consider
I guess it
that?
could be.
I would just consider it like we both play Guitar Hero a lot. Would you say?
Oh, yeah.
And like, what's the strat to Guitar Hero? Like, don't miss notes, right?
Yeah, just don't miss forehead.
Forehead.
Just don't mess up.
If only we wouldn't get like a copyright deal. Could we play Brain Power? Oh. Well, I mean, I guess like the strategy when you're learning Guitar Hero is to like get the mechanics down, but then after that, like the only thing to do is like hit all the notes, right?
Yeah, I guess it's just kind of like a sense of rhythm. That's probably like, I guess, the main thing.
I remember the first time I played that game at my buddy's like 13th birthday party, or like maybe it was a little earlier than that when it came out, and like I was hitting all the buttons, but I didn't realize like you had to strum, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's a guitar, and I felt like such an idiot. I like feel like kind of like great about playing that game still because a lot of my buddies that got the game when we were all into the PS2 like just never played it again, and I still find so much enjoyment out of it.
Oh yeah.
I think it was like in high school I went over to my buddies and was like, man, I cannot beat Guitar Hero 3 on hard. Can you do it? And I beat Lou, the final boss, on the first try, and he was like, I hate you. And I was like, not a problem, dude. Like, you want to play expert now? He's like, no. Also, another weird Guitar Hero story. I guess I was in college, and for some reason, my buddy had Rock Band at... Oh, there is my favorite mechanic, actually, the slide jump through those little gaps. I've been kind of slide jumping already, but it's normally not in between two things. It's normally just been over one. But we were at his bachelor party, and for some reason, he brought out Rock Band 3, and my buddy wanted to play Du Hast, and I obliged, so I got to play the guitar part. And they were all just like shocked and pissing themselves that I hit 100% of the notes, and I was like, yeah, it's Du Hast, guys. Like, it never ceases to amaze me how many people like have overlooked that game and just been like, yeah, people don't play this. No one has skill in this.
Yeah.
I'm glad that Frosted did a run of it at GDQ just to kind of show off, like, yeah, this is still a fun game. Like, it's still cool. This is like the most cheesy thing right there, where we just slid past an entire section because speedrun. Like, normally you'd be like popping your head up to grab the gold, so you'd be slide canceling a lot, which is the term I'll use, where you're just going like this to get gold. But That's unnecessary, right? Like,
Yeah.
what's the point of doing that when you're gonna get? If you get bonked, you go back to the beginning. We don't want that.
Do all the levels here have the same song?
It varies slightly. Each world has its own theme, and they all kind of vary slightly.
Which world has your favorite soundtrack? Or your favorite song?
The final world, the Bit Trip, because it's very 8-bit, and that world is super duper eye strain for me. I actually, now that I'm an old man, and I'm not very old, I actually had to get a prescription for glasses the other day, and oh my goodness, man. Like, I've been going bonkers for the last, like, week with, like, blurry vision at distance. It is not fun. Like, if you think your vision is bad, go see an optometrist, people. That's my PSA. Like, even driving here today, like, I could not read signs from, like, a good distance. And I'm like, that thing is giant. Like, I feel very bad. That's my favorite part of any level in this world, is that cool little cargo ship one there. I just really like the way they've played that. It looks really nice. But when we get to the Bit Trip, you will see it is extremely stressful on the eyes. Like, everything just kind of blurs together, and that's not in a bad way. Like, it looks great. It's just there's so much going on at once. It can kind of be a pain, honestly, but aesthetically it's very pleasing, but, like, how far can you go aesthetically before it becomes a nightmare, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is really nice. You have the foreground, you have the barrel boys in the background, or maybe they're barrel girls. I don't know. What would you classify barrels as? I mean, they are round. They are rotund.
They're wood.
They are, well, they're usually wood. You could make an iron barrel, I suppose.
True.
I mean, guns have iron barrels.
True.
I mean, different kind of barrel, but, you know. I also really like the use of 3D space in this game. Like, the stop signs kind of flying at you after you kick them is, like, a really good touch.
Oh, yeah.
I think the game is really good visually. I wish more people picked it up when it came out. It's just a really fun, like, romp. You just kind of go around, you have fun. Once you start playing the very hard mode and getting a lot of gold, like trying to 100% it, you just kind of get sucked into it. The predecessor to this, Runner2, has some of the most ridiculous challenge maps on it. Successor, predecessor, all decessors, you're right. Thank you. It has some of the most ridiculous challenge maps, and I played maybe 4 hours to beat 8 levels because they're just so ridiculously hard. That's with collecting all the gold and stuff, because they make it so you have to, like, ground pound through, like, the tiniest pixel perfect gaps over and over again, and then you've done that. Well, here's another section of that. Oh, are you done? No. Do you want a checkpoint? No, you don't get a checkpoint. What's your favorite song on Guitar Hero? That's a good question, and unrelated to this game.
I am not sure. I mean, there's a lot. But
like, I guess we could go by title, but we'd be here for a while.
yeah. I mean, I guess I'm not. I don't really care if it's like a really hard song or an easy song, but just as long as it's a banger.
There's a lot of bangers on Gent Hero. Shoutouts to Gent Hero.
Oh yeah.
Wherever Xantor is, thank you.
I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
What do you prefer more, 2.5D or 2D?
If it has to be done right, I really couldn't care either way.
Like if this game was in just pure 2D style.
I believe the Bit Trip Runner, the predecessor, is.
Oh,
but
is it?
I have not played it, so I can't attest to that. I think it's also 2.5. I think this would be fine in 2D, but I don't think it would capture what it's going for with the aesthetic, you know?
Yeah.
I think it would fall flat. Just follow the path, do the levels. Turn and Cough, great level name, by the way. Oh, no. Okay, Jesus.
Yeah,
This is
also-
very finicky, I'm sorry. Nothing we can do. Hey, at least we got the thing running, right?
Also really relevant title name.
Well, and I'm also playing as a female. I don't know if they go through that same procedure. I would doubt it. All right, that's my one off-caller-ish joke for the day. Am I doing all right? Okay, all right, fair enough. I think I've refrained from swearing, and I think that was going to be the hardest thing for me. I mean, I might say some gosh darns and some golly dangs, but I mean, you know. I don't think we've gotten to the point where I've screwed up enough to get genuinely mad, and I'm not really an angry person, so that might take a very long time. I don't know. How do you feel like about like just watching this? Is it at least like somewhat decent?
Yeah.
I feel like for me
like
when I play,
when I was saying earlier, I was like kind of like a platform or whatever. One of the other things that kind of came to mind was it's kind of just like kind of reminded me like the very first game that just came to mind was like Geometry Dash.
oh yeah, I can see that. I know for me, I just get like hypnotized with this game. You just kind of roll with it.
Yeah.
There are little like sound cues for like going past things, but like when we said it's a rhythm game, I don't believe it really is, because like the sound cues don't really do a good job of like
No, yeah.
telling you like what's what.
It seems like when you pick up those like gold pieces or whatever, like it seems, at least from what I've seen so far, the gold pieces when you pick them up, they kind of like ding to the music.
Yeah, they ding.
Same with
and,
like those.
the stairs are supposed to as well. They're
Yeah.
supposed to sync with your like small jumps, but it honestly like it feels like it has like a 10 millisecond delay whenever I play it, and I mean, to call it a rhythm game, I would say is a bit of a stretch. Maybe rhythm-esque. We're gonna go for the hard path for no reason, but I did it, so. And it paid off, okay. That path was probably hard if I actually went for the gold, but we're not going for any of the gold because that's just, yeah, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
You've seen the shoot out of a cannon deal, and you'll see it every boss fight, so. If I wanted to, high scores are consisted of collecting the gold and dancing literally every second you can. So like on very hard mode, you would just keep mashing right trigger and then like trying to like avoid the enemies all at the same time. There's your next mechanic, the rail slide and rail hang. It's kind of a nice mechanic. It's really world specific. I don't think it comes back after this world, but I could be dead wrong, and I'm okay with that. I mean, I've been embarrassed before. I once forgot my wallet and had all of my groceries at Walmart checked out, and then had to drive home and come back, you know? Like, welcome to being an adult, right? So like that, like normally we would go up, down to maximize our gold, and like you just don't, there's no point for me to do that. And I kind of feel like I'm left out, but like there's no point in risking like getting bopped by one of those weird floating mecha ghost punching Mike Tysons. I don't know. The enemies are a very weird classification in this game. Like, I don't know what they're supposed to be. Like, they're supposed to be enemy, like, helpers of the Tumble Tot, who's, like, this giant robotic dude that you fight in the third game's finale, but, like, it doesn't make any sense to me, and I'm not going to try to make sense of it. It simply is what it is. Fish Boulevard, classic. Everybody's been there. It's known for its wharf, if you've never been. Railside's pretty cool because you can just fall off. You don't have to jump. I really like that about this game. It makes things like intuitive like that, where like you would think other games I know I've played where you platform and you're like, well, why did that respond like that? It makes me very sad. I'm also trying really hard not to do anything in a Ray Romano voice for a while. I did not like Ray Romano for the longest time when I was younger. And I had a 7th grade teacher who told me I sounded like Ray Romano, and I had a fit. I was just beside myself. Like, I almost ended up in the principal's office because I was going to scream at her, like, I'm not Ray Romano, don't call me that. I mean, to be fair, it was a compliment from her about my dry humor, but I was like, you know what? I just never liked him. I mean, I would get home and my dad would have Channel 45 on, and Everybody Loves Raymond would be on, and I just hated it.
Everybody Loves Raymond, very Kino.
It just wasn't for me.
I remember watching that a lot. That show's really great.
And then King of Queens would come on after that, and like that was where
doesn't live up to Everybody Loves Raymond.
No, not even close. And like I would tune out on King of Queens. This is Aqueduct. Duck spelled as like quack quack, and instead of with a T. Having seen Roman aqueducts in person, they're super sweet. You should go to France or England or wherever the Romans still have architecture standing. It's pretty sweet. Life goals, if you're really interested in that kind of stuff. You know, I thought I was going to be a lot more nervous going into this, and now that we've really only made one mistake and unplugged the controller a couple times, like, I'm having a good time. I'm glad to be sharing this fun time with everybody who's still awake at 2:30 in the morning. Even people on stream who I can't see any of your chat or any of your comments, I hope you're having a great whatever time zone you're in, morning, evening, night. Depends where you are, I guess. For me, this is the evening because I work overnights, but for some people, this might be very early morning or very late night. I don't know. What is it for you? Is this like late night or like, what's your normal schedule? Are you like a day guy?
Kinda. I don't know. I usually stay up late.
I mean,
But I guess
I
it's just
don't
kinda-
say that anymore because then people go like, what do you mean? I'm like, I go to bed at 7 in the morning every day. But to me, that's normal. Like, that's not
Yeah.
staying up late. That's just like,
True.
it's going to bed at a normal time. That jump used to plague me. Like, I know like the game, I'm making it look very simple, but when I first started playing this, like some of the jumps and the timing just, they mess with your head and you get so mad at yourself because you're like, I hit that, and then you realize I didn't hit that, and you just want to scream because you're back at the start and you've missed 5 pieces of gold, and now you have to do it all over again.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it's very what's the term? Trial and error.
It definitely is, and like the thing is, a lot of these levels I barely practice this run because I just have so much familiarity with the game, and it's just a lot of like hitting the right things at the right time. But when I first started, yeah, it was a lot of like, oh crap, okay, that was that jump, or like when you're going for all the gold, it's like, okay, I gotta do like a duck jump, like back and forth, and you just get a rhythm, which kind of where the rhythm comes in.
Yeah.
But like, man, there was so many times I would like get through this long, difficult sequence just to fail at the end, and I would just shake my head and I'd go right back at it. My experience with platformers, I freaking love them, even the most difficult ones. I have 100%ed Super Meat Boy, and that took far too many hours of trying, and I never want to speedrun that game, so... But like, I might be one of the most persistent people when it comes to video games. Like, I will stay up until, for me, like noon, like just grinding something out until like I can't see anymore, and like I've had like you know, for me, a ton of nicotine and caffeine, and I'm like, you know what, this is bad news bears, it's time to go to bed. I do not endorse nicotine. If any of you need help quitting, there are resources. I shouldn't say it. I mean, I personally don't even really want to continue doing it, but I have made that decision. I have screwed up.
Oh wow, that was super far back.
Yeah, that's why.
Wait, that's not the beginning of the level.
No,
is it?
that was the checkpoint.
Oh, okay.
I have purposely been getting all of the checkpoints because I knew something like that might happen. Now, you get, I think, 20,000 bonus points for every checkpoint that you skip, but I, just for the sake of not going back to the entire start of the level, I also made the mistake there of going down the hard path, and I do not practice those, so I was just not prepared for it at all, and totally whiffed, like... So that was a sequence of, like, 10 to 12 slide jumps, and I let go of the slide halfway through that last jump, and then I realized it's still a slide jump. Why am I doing this? That's the kind of thing about this game, too. It kind of creeps up on you where you're like, okay, I'm in the rhythm. I'm doing this thing. And it's kind of like Guitar Hero. You've been strumming that green for 45 seconds, and your brain goes, can we stop strumming green? Like,
Yeah.
could we just go on to the next function? Like, that's my one gripe with Guitar Hero sometimes. I played a Meshuggah song earlier, and the same section repeats for 2 minutes. And by the end of it, your brain's just like, mush.
Yeah.
So we will be getting to the second boss. I think it's like another airplane kind of deal. A lot of the bosses are kind of like machine-based because their overlord is a machine. He is the Timble Tot, which sounds like a tater tot. Not related whatsoever. To be fair, if you fought a giant tater tot in this game, that would be sick. It was not meant to be, but... Well, I'm glad that we've only made 2 mistakes so far, and that's gonna skyrocket, I guarantee it.
So you're coming up on the second boss, right?
Yes, there are 5 worlds in total. I believe there are 20. It's 100 levels overall, so it's including the bosses. I think it's 105.
Oh, okay.
Not 100% on that. I need to learn how to count. Complex math gets, gets very difficult.
Yeah.
This is Drown Town. I almost drowned when I was a child, and it still kind of scares me to this day. Not that I avoid water, but when I was a child, I definitely was traumatized for a while. So this boss is kind of interesting, mostly because when I first fought it, I had no idea what to do about those barrels, and then I realized, oh, you have to jump. Like, because they look pretty normal, right? They're just in the water.
Oh, in the
so they're in the water, but you have to, like, jump them. And at first, when I played this game, I'm like,
oh, is it because they explode and there's
yeah.
like that water that
And
comes
I was
up?
like, why would you have to jump? So I was so confused the first time I did this boss fight. And, like, and then there, too, I didn't ever realize, like, wait, why is this not working? And I realized, oh, you have to jump then kick. But you never have to jump and kick in the rest of the game up to this point. So I think it was good on the developers to, like, kind of hide stuff in the boss fights like this. But at the same time, it was very infuriating as a new player to kind of go into it and be like, hey, I haven't seen this before. Why am I doing this? Oh, he has like a 4th little mini stage there. Should I go for the bullseye? Should we do it?
Oh, yeah.
All right, we're going for the bullseye. If we get the bullseye, I will donate $5 to charity.
Ooh,
Let's go.
Oh, my God.
All right, I'll have to do it after this, and I'll need to plug in my phone to do
He's
that.
insane.
And so there you get a nice perfect plus. Oh my God, this controller wants to be so finicky. Come on. All right, I'm gonna have to unplug it again. I feel really bad that we're having so many technical difficulties, but I'm not really that mad. I'm having a good time. We are going to the Super Nature now. This is probably one of my least favorite locations, just because I think it's boring. We're going to go with Uncle Dill Pickle, and we're going to go Country Bumpkin, because that's the best skin, in my opinion. And I'm playing, so yeah. The cutscenes are super cute, but we will not get to watch any of them. They're, like, really fun. They kind of remind me of Battle Block Theater, if you've played Battle Block Theater. That's a pretty fun game. This world will have a lot of fans, because you know how many times you've been out in the woods, right? Just humor me, right? You've been out in the woods before, right?
I've never actually gone camping, but I've probably...
You've been in a wooded area?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
You know how they just have giant fans that stick up and shoot you like 30 feet in the air, right?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
All right, that's what I thought. This game is hyper-realistic. So right there is where I used to get really mad. That guy there that we just ducked under, I had such trouble spotting him the first time I played this game because he blends in with the environment. I really like the way this game does that, even if it can piss you off. Sorry, I will avoid feedbacking into the mic. I know that's probably really good. Feels Keck W, man. I really wish there was like cool strategies to show off in this game, but there's really not, and it makes me kind of like sad. Like when I play for like people. Oh hey, I'm on TV, Dad. Are we only at 45 minutes, man? I might still be on pace.
What was did you say what your PB was? Or?
It's 145. Can somebody verify that who has access to an internet? Or the internet. It depends on what you want, you know. I think it's 145 or 147. I have the only run for just right. All of the other runs are for quite easy. And I just felt like for me, I didn't want to play on quite easy because it just takes out so many enemies. It just kind of, it's dull. It's just basically watching the game run, like, in my opinion. Maybe that's not the best like review. Maybe I could go back and watch the other runs of it, but it just feels so empty, and I didn't really want that. And I also didn't want very hard because I don't want to practice that much, and like the amount of mistakes I could potentially make are just exponential on hard mode. I will say I love the way that they scale the difficulty in this game with the names. It's quite easy, just right, and rather hard. Not hard, rather hard. It's classic. Oh no, I zipped up the mic into my sweatshirt. What am I doing? If you haven't noticed, by the way, recurring theme is like weird stuff in the background with like eyeballs.
Yeah, I saw the moon earlier had a face.
Yeah, a lot of like weird objects with faces. That's just the way this game was meant to be. Really. All right. Well, I feel bad about that. That's not a mistake I'm even proud of. That, you know. I mean, not that I'm proud of most of my mistakes, but I mean, you know, you live and you learn, right? That just feels bad, man. I gotta say, this is like my second favorite character, though. The dill pickle guy is pretty awesome. We're gonna slide all the way through this checkpoint just for purposes, I guess. I don't really know.
Wait, so the dill pickle guy's your second favorite?
Yeah, wet fart cheeseburger, like hands down, just for the name alone. Like, we're gonna wear his lederhosen costume as well because it's pretty nice.
Who's the worst character?
The worst character, in my opinion, is probably Captain Video, which is like a more futuristic version of Commander Video. I just don't think he's that good. I just don't think they took like the time to make that character feel unique, and it kind of lacks for me. Like, Commander Video is pretty boring, but like he's still good. Like, he's your staple, you know. Morning Wood, that's another great one here. What a great level name. That's a developer joke, not mine. So
Are there a lot of levels in this game that have
a lot
like
of them
that?
do have like or it goes with the theme. Like the last level was called Coniferous Say, like for coniferous trees. They all just kind of tie in, kind of cute, and I really like that. This game just has a really nice, like, well thought out, and like carefully crafted thing about it. You know, it's kind of like Super Meat Boy. It feels really polished, and like that the developers really put their work into it. Not saying that like most developers don't obviously pride in their games, but I mean like certain studios maybe, and we're not gonna name any. You know who they are. Like put in like I guess there's less like handcrafted care to it, right?
Yeah.
Like when you make a movie with a staff of like 25,000 people, it feels a lot more corporate than if you made a movie with like 10 people, right?
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know what the development staff size was on this. I would guess it's less than 50 though. I'm not too sure what these publishers have done after this game, so. Hey, we're connected to the internet again. You can see Little Brother 42 holds the top score on this level. Shoutouts to him wherever he is. Shoutouts to his parents for having 41 older brothers. Like, good job.
So what?
I mean, are they all like from the same mother, or I mean, because you can have 41 older brothers from multiple people.
True. What So how do you get like the max score for each one?
So maybe we'll do it for giggles on one of the levels. So max score would consist of going on very hard mode because you get more points for the enemies you pass, and they have more enemies. So, and then dancing. Dancing is worth more points the more meter you build up, which is the rainbow behind me.
And are you able
And
to dance like
You
anywhere in the level?
You can dance any frame that you have available.
Oh,
It
wow.
just, if you are dancing, you can't jump, you can't block, you can't slide. So you dance at your own risk. So I dance at the end because it's like a guaranteed 10,000 points every time you dance.
Uh-huh.
But like you try chaining a dance between every jump, and you're starting to get into territory of like pixel perfect everything.
Yeah. Are there any levels that have like an absolute for sure maxed out score?
Probably most of them. I guess I've never really tried to go for the high score on most levels. Just because like it is so tediously difficult.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to collect all the gold on hard mode, which I'll tell you from 100%ing the game was hard enough already, let alone trying to fit a dance maneuver into every available frame, wall dodging and sliding and kicking and blocking. It's just, it's pretty rough. I'll just go with that.
Sounds tedious.
If you want to do it, you can be my guest. I will gift you a copy of this game, and you can become the world record points holder on any level you desire.
How much is this game?
Say what?
How much is this game?
I think it's still $15 or $20. I know I got it on sale for like $8 when it came out during one of the Steam sales. And now that Runner2 is out, or has been out for a couple years, I would think this is only going to get cheaper, but I don't really know how Steam does it, so I'm not going to... Like, if I could get the Gaben hotline, I would, but I can't. I always feel like I'm just mashing this for like 9 years when like the end screen doesn't change no matter how fast you mash. Until you get to the count up screen, like you can't do anything. It's just compulsory, I guess, right? So there we go. I'll actually block instead of slide, and now I'll slide because it's much easier. But blocking would get me points, but again, I'm not looking for points, so like, oh
Yeah, it's just like an unnecessary.
yeah, it's unnecessary, and I totally just slid off of that pipe I was hanging onto, because this game is great like that, where like if you're hanging on a pipe, you could just slide off into the abyss if you really want to. And I did that because I got frightened, because I forgot that I was supposed to just hang out because there's punching dudes there. Making a lot of costly mistakes today, man. I feel like it's too much jovial banter, you know? And I think I wouldn't want it any other way. I don't think I want to be serious when I'm playing this, you know, for funsies. Well, I mean, obviously I'm playing it to speedrun it, but I mean, I'm not like at home, like I've got my Monster Chaos like chugged. I've got my death metal playlist going, and I'm ready to rock. Which, to be fair, like I usually play this game without the sound on. And it's very weird having the sound on. It's not bad. It's just odd when you do something for so long without, like, the sound, I guess.
Yeah.
Also, for a game that kind of makes rhythm noises when you're going and, like, has its own beat to it, like, putting songs that are off-tempo and, like, metal over the top of it, it works for me, and I don't know why. Like, you've played Guitar Hero where it's out of sync, right? And, like, somehow it just, you can still do it, right?
Yeah, some songs.
I made a mistake. We won't talk about that. There's a couple more seconds lost. You know, it's just is what it is. At least I hope I can showcase the game and like maybe get some awareness for it. I mean, I really loved it. It got me through a lot of hard times in college when like let's just say the choices and the habits that I was getting into probably weren't the best. And I think we'll leave it at that. Maybe one day they'll make a documentary about like video games saved my life or something, but I really doubt it. Right there, I swear every time like your character's gonna glitch through that and like somehow collide with that, but it has no hitbox and I love it. So I believe for the next world, because it... okay, I didn't jump apparently. Because it makes the least sense, we're going to play as Wet Fart Cheeseburger. A cheeseburger in a lava world makes the most sense, right?
Absolutely.
I would also highly recommend Runner2 to anybody who is like watching this game now and is interested in the Runner series, Runner 3 is probably the one I would say is a better introduction because it's more modern and it plays really cool. The only gripe I have about Runner 3 is there are vehicle sections and they suck. Vehicle sections, and the controls are so finicky that like one little turn and you're done. You're cooked. Your goose is gandered. I'm sorry, your gray duck is gandered at. We're the Gray Duck Society here, right, guys? All right, sweet. I'm glad to hear that. Wait, we have a guy from Iowa. Are you guys Gray Ducks down there? So that is the only speed boost you can do.
We don't talk about Iowa.
We don't talk about Iowa yet. I'll tell that to the people I know from there. You know, I ate once, and this is like going to be the weirdest memory because that's how memory works, right? I once ate at a Bennigan's in West Des Moines, and it was fantastic. And that's all I have to say about it.
Enjoy the site when you're driving into Des Moines and you can see the Capitol up on the hill. And
Yeah.
it overlooks. I think it's a lake. I don't remember if that's a river or what. It's just really pretty. And
I really like Des Moines. Like, I really like visiting there when I've driven through, or like, I know some friends down there. It's a really nice area. I would not recommend it as like a vacation destination, let's be real, but
Is there not a lot of
no.
stuff to-
I don't know what you're talking about. We have someone off mic saying Iowa is not a vacation
is
destination. I
not.
saw the cornfield from Field of Dreams. They have a little shack there where you can buy like a copy of Field of Dreams on Betamax. Like, it was great.
To be fair, South Dakota, where I lived for quite a few years and went to college, has a corn palace in Mitchell, and it is the world-renowned corn palace.
The Corn Palace slaps.
I have not been, and I don't think I ever will.
It's like a high school gymnasium, like on the inside, with like a couple exhibits about the history of the Corn Palace. Really, you just go to look at the outside.
Well, you go for the giant hedge maze, right?
I did not do the heads made.
I've
just
heard
checked out
that
the
is
Corn
super
Palace.
cool. I will say, having gone to the Black Hills is so much better than the other side of South Dakota. Having lived in eastern South Dakota, it is much like southern Minnesota. There are farms, and there are farms.
My favorite part of eastern South Dakota is when you're driving and it's completely flat for like 3 hours, and then all of a sudden there's a hill and then a mile-wide river.
Yep.
There's no exaggeration. You're just completely flat.
Yeah,
and you're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
whoa, is that a hill? What?
You know
a
what's even
hill?
better is when you make
No.
the 7-hour drive across Nebraska, and at the 7th hour, you finally see the Rocky Mountains, and you're like, God, that's what I was waiting for?
Talk about build-up.
Oh my God, so much buildup, but it's beautiful out there. I would recommend Colorado as a vacation destination. That one's not a joke. That place is awesome. I actually, if I might talk about a time where I had to, let's call it, make an emergency evacuation of the bowels, it was in Colorado on one of the Rocky Mountains. And it was a 3-mile hike back down, and I could not make it those 3 miles, and I am part of that mountain now. There we go. I hope everybody enjoyed that. My memory is going great today with all these random stories.
Hey, sometimes when you gotta go, you gotta go.
Oh, the worst part is that, like, I think I could have held it, but it was 45 minutes to the nearest gas station, and I'm like, you know what? If it's an hour down the mountain and 45 to the gas station, there's no point. We are going right here, right now. And I don't regret that decision. Lost a perfectly good pair of socks that day. Oh, no, I
Am I
selected.
tripping right now? It feels like that projector's moving.
It may be. I don't know. I'm not looking at the projector. You are, though. You're in this. Are you on there? Oh, yeah. You're in, like, a great view of the camera just laying down.
Felt like it was moving.
Can we get a donation for an additional pillow? Has anybody done that yet? I would love to, but I've got my hands tied.
The room that I'm in still has like another 8 pillows or so.
Oh my goodness, we could have 8 more pillows. I want you to build a Helm's Deep out of pillows. I wish there's more cool, like, exploits and crap. Like, all I can do is dance, and I mean, that's fair. I mean, there's a lot of songs out there about dancing. I mean, the Bee Gees have said before you should be dancing, and I was. So, I mean, I don't know what I can do to help them anymore. That is just a long power slide.
Jamming out to this tune.
You just gotta take a chance, man. You're old enough to dance the night away. All right, do we want any more dancing references? Are we cool here?
Wait,
Keep them
wait,
coming.
there,
I
there,
am the
there.
dancing queen. I'm,
You are the dancing queen. I
No,
hope you're. I
I'm-
hope you're over 17 because.
I'm not young and sweet, and 10 years ago I was 17.
Oh well, that answers my question.
To be fair, like, I decided to shave just to this nice handlebar-ish mustache, and you know what? It makes me look a lot less gruff, but still not young and sweet. I don't know if I was ever sweet when I was young to begin. I'm sure my mother would be like, "Oh, you're just the sweetest baby," and she would be
Oh.
lying.
Oh, you're sweet to me right now. I think the real question is, can you feel the beat on the tambourine?
Oh, my goodness, of course. I can hear the drums, Fernando. That's my favorite ABBA song, if anyone was interested. There's going to be a trivia portion after the run where I talk about we talk about, like, little pop quiz stuff that we learned today. So there you go. There's one of your answers. Dancing Queen is not my favorite, but Fernando is.
This will not be on the quiz, but my favorite ABBA song is "Take a Chance on Me."
Ooh, that's a good. Ooh, that's very good. Winner Takes It All might be my, like, tie.
Oh,
That's a
ooh,
tie break for me.
ooh.
That's a tough call. Could we play ABBA over? You know what? We're not gonna play ABBA over the stream. I don't think it's possible. I would feel really good if I'm just sitting here like, I don't want to talk, and I can't get her voice because I am not.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing that you didn't hit the notes,
Oh,
so
that
that we're
is
not
no-
getting copyright strikes.
Well, there's no way. I mean, I am not a young Swedish woman in my prime, as she was in the 70s. And the controller came unplugged again. I'm just putting that out there for everybody. It's not me. I'm not that bad, I swear. I mean, I am, but I mean. Ugh. As Stone Temple Pilots would say, I am smelling like a rose that somebody gave me on my birthday deathbed. Do we have other questions for the quiz then? Like, I mean, I think that yours is a good bonus question. I would include it. To be fair, I don't know when I became the proctor of this examination, but I will certainly carry out the
we're definitely
duties.
gonna have to include like what city has the Corn Palace.
Oh, yeah. If you didn't get that, go ahead and Google that.
Yeah, this is open book, so you can have a tab of Google open.
Yeah,
or
oh,
whatever.
definitely.
It's totally fine. We are basically substitute teachers.
This is exactly like college. Open book, kids. You pay 20 grand a semester to open book. There's a lot of fans there, for anybody who was curious.
I'm a fan of fans.
I like fans. My room gets very hot in the summer, and you know, nothing's better than waking up stuck to your sheets, am I right?
True.
This is my favorite boss fight. This is Timber's Timber. I guess there we go. I talked about the game for once. It felt good, you know. I was supposed to talk for Gooby about the Ronald McDonald VHS tapes from the 90s. I wish he was here so that he could partake.
Though, is that a
Um,
perspective change?
Yeah, the perspective change.
What?
Yeah, that's why this boss fight is the OP best boss fight. Come on.
You get to see his perspective
So
change.
there were 6 films. 5 of them were released, and I believe 1 was released online. But I have never found the footage, nor did I really look. At any rate, the McDonald's films. I'm bringing some of the VHSs tomorrow if I can find them in the treasure trove that is my basement, and we will be watching them. Not on stream, but I mean, it'll be fun for us.
Wait, McDonald's has movies?
Yes, they made VHS tapes in the 90s with a real live Ronald McDonald and animated segments. I could name all of them. I could sing some songs from them if you'd like, but I'm going to refrain. One of the quiz questions will be name one of those films. If you collected them, kudos to you, because I thought they were sweet, and my brother and I still sing the songs to each other, and we're in our 20s, so if that doesn't make us losers, I don't know what does. I mean, probably, you know, failing to complete this boss in one try, that was kind of a loss. Timber. Should we go for the bullseye for $5 more?
I'm all for it.
All right, sweet. I mean, this is kind of, there's a reason the estimate was 2 hours. Ah, that is way harder than it looks because every cannon has a different trajectory. Don't ask me why they programmed the game like that.
So does the cannon just like randomly choose where to point?
Here's Wet Fart Cheeseburger. Yeah, the cannon, like, it fires kind of based off of where it's angled, but every cannon has a different momentum and a different angle of attack.
Oh.
So, like, getting good at that is, like, just try to hit it on the upswing. If you wait like I did for too long, you're more than likely just going to miss. So this is Wet Fart Cheeseburger. Ich denke, das ist Deutsch, aber ich habe keine Idee. There's my German for you. If there is a German restream, well, then I did your job for you just for like 2 sentences, and you probably have laughed at how poor my accent is.
Wet Fart do be kind of vibing though.
Und ihr habt deine Lederhosen auf. So I chose to do him on this level because, you know, a cheeseburger in a molten lava area seems to make the most sense. So, like, right, cheese needs to be melted. Jimmy Buffett probably wouldn't like this because his cheeseburger was in paradise. You know, I had the opportunity to see Jimmy Buffett at the Target Field, and I did not take that opportunity, and I wish I would have. I think my life is now pointless.
That really seems like one of those can't miss opportunities.
It really is. So was Billy Joel, but those tickets were so expensive.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been really good, though.
I'm really happy that I managed to see the Beach Boys, like, propped up, like, on their walkers and having someone else play their guitars for them. It was great.
I am glad I got to see the Beach Boys 10 years ago before they were that far gone, so I saw them at Mystic Lake, and it was 80 degrees and humid, and these old dudes played for 3 hours without a break, and I'm sitting there like, you're gonna kill yourselves.
Yeah,
What are you
no,
doing?
touring musicians are very
Dude,
impressive.
they're nuts.
Yeah, no, I saw them at Bonnaroo Music Festival in Tennessee in the summer, so it was like 110 degrees, and let me tell you, the inside of that porta potty on Sunday afternoon, while I was listening to Sloop John B, that was the experience of
I
a
sing
lifetime.
Sloop John B at work to my coworkers, and they're like, why do you sing that one? And I'm like, because there's a great line here, let me go home. Why don't they let me go? I am not going to try to get as high as Mike Love or Al Jardine. I will refrain.
I do feel so broken.
What's your favorite Beach Boys track, then? Like, what's your go-to?
Sloop John B. It's, you know, the basic answer, but...
It's a great song. I'll give you that.
And from watching 50 First Dates, approximately 50 times more than any one person ever should.
How did I know this was going to go there?
Yeah, it's the only other Beach Boys song people our age know.
That's okay. That's very true. I was going to say for me, like, one of my favorites is Heroes and Villains, which is heavily featured in Mafia 3. And I feel that's a really underrated one. Or When I Grow Up to Be a Man. I really like that song.
Good Vibrations is a classic.
I like Good Vibrations, but the live version is just not the same. And I've had to play that too many times on Rock Band, and it feels so wrong, but it's oh so right, I guess. Well, I don't know. What's the viewership right now? Like, I'm sure some of them know more Beach Boys than they let on.
There's at least 3 million viewers. Unfortunately, none of them are chatting. I don't know what's up.
Okay, fair enough. They're probably all listening to Sloop John B. Now that you've mentioned it, no one's going to stop. To be fair, like, some days I put on my 45s of Danny and the Juniors and I think about being at the Hop. It's understandable. So there's an old man I work with. He's 50-something years old. I'm not going to say his name. His name is Joe. Okay.
Got it.
So, like, he always like kind of asks me like, well, what do you listen to? And I'll bring out like some random like 50s music and 60s music. He's like, why do you know this? Why do you have any right to know this? I'm like, it's enjoyable, man. Like, you know, don't give me no flack, as they would have said, you know, a long time ago.
Yeah, we do have some answers from chat.
We
got-
do, sweet.
They agree. Good vibrations. A bop.
All right. That is a bop.
And At the Hop is a slapper.
Oh, thank you. Whoever said that, what is their name? I must thank them.
That
personally.
was Ariel.
Who?
Ariel.
Ariel. All right. Thank you. If you want, you can rock it, you can roll it, you can really start to stow it at the hop. All right. Everybody go
Hop.
listen to that. Danny and the Juniors at the hop. That's a banger. If you also like that kind of music, Dion is great, either solo or with the Belmonts. That wasn't a jump all the way up. I feel like an idiot. My bad, guys. I must confess that I don't feel like a monster.
Well, it's a good thing we're at an event sponsored by Red Bull then.
You know, I haven't had a Red Bull. Can I get one?
I wish I could give you one. We drank all the gamer juice in our cooler back here and have only gamer ice.
You know what? I have a Monster Chaos in the car. I might get that later on. Let's go. Does anybody else have a band that they'd like to talk about? I mean, we've kind of gone like run the gambit here on like a bunch of just different, you know, hit
Are
makers.
you familiar with Sha-Na-Na?
Sha-Na-Na.
Sha-Na-Na.
But who's that by?
No, that's the name of a band.
Oh, I'm not familiar.
They
with that.
they were an ironic doo-wop act from the 60s into the 70s.
I'm cool with this. I
They
must go
opened
research
for
this.
Hendrix at Woodstock, and it might be the invention of punk rock. You really got to go look
Okay,
that
I'm
YouTube
gonna
video
go look
up.
that up. We have a slogan at work because we have a department called packing. If anybody's really curious, I work at a warehouse for Target in Minnesota. I drive a forklift. It's kind of cool sometimes. It's kind of crap sometimes. But they decided to come up with the slogan, the leader of the pack. And I just cannot get out of my head the song by the Chordettes, the leader of the pack. And I just keep expecting our boss, every time he uses that slogan at some company meeting, to like rev a motorcycle and then like, you know, the song plays. And it doesn't happen, and I get sad.
If you think that's a good take on a name or a department, my official title at work is package handler. I handle a lot of packages.
I technically don't because we don't ship parcels, we ship cases.
Cases,
so,
yeah.
Like, I think we do ship parcels, but not in my department. Or we ship overpacks, either one. Where's National Shipping Person Week? Like, where is that? I need that
I
in my
don't
life.
know. We need that.
This
like,
level is
really
called
bad.
Bumpin' Uglies. That's all I gotta say. Also, like, this level might be the creepiest aesthetically just for the weird, like, cast iron dudes with their, like, solemn gazes. I feel like his visage stares deep into the depths of my soul, and I feel like crying a little bit. He drains my life force.
They kind of remind me of like dilapidated water towers in old towns.
Yeah. Why are they chained up then? Oh, I guess because, like, the whole area is on fire. Like, it makes sense.
Yeah, you don't want them accidentally putting the area out.
That's true. That's very true. You know a song that, like, I will get up and dance to every time it's played, and it's never played? Is Chubby Checkers' The Twist.
It's a good song.
That's just a great song.
I feel like it's probably been played.
Like, they need to play that at more weddings. I'm just putting that out there. People who have weddings, because I'm not having a wedding anytime soon, just put that, get the DJ to play that
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
alright?
At wedding DJs,
Yeah,
play that song more often.
Because people are going to twist. You're going to get grandmas out there twisting. You're going to get maybe grandpas out there twisting. I don't know who you're
They're
going to
be teaching their little like nieces and nephews,
how
little
to do the
6-year-olds how to do the
twist, yeah.
twist.
I mean, it's very simple.
Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure a variation of the twist is in Fortnite, so the kids will love it.
The kids will love it, yeah. I mean, what's the song from a Bend Over, Let Me See You Shake Your Tail Feather from the Blues Brothers is a great song. And that song has like a ton of different dance variants that they talk about during the song. Finger quick, have you fallen asleep back there, my friend?
No. The tunes of this game, jamming out to them.
I need, can I get Fingerquick's mic volume turned up for me?
I missed that.
Can I get his mic volume turned up for me?
Oh, yeah. Let's bass boost finger quick real quick.
I mean, we have
It
the
might have been.
technology,
I just
right?
didn't have the mic close enough to my face. I'm not sure.
I like quite literally have the technology. Like I can turn this knob and it boosts the lower frequencies on his voice. I just bass boosted finger quick. Dude,
Oh,
yeah.
Dude, that's much better. Thank you.
there we go.
Are you familiar with Heroes and Villains by the Beach Boys? I'm not going to sing it because my voice is terrible.
I've probably heard it, but I wouldn't say familiar.
Okay.
What album is it off of?
I think it's off of Pet Sounds, but I could be very wrong. It is on their greatest hits album, Endless Summer. But there's a lot of songs that are on that greatest hits album for obvious reason.
Yeah, we got Ariel in chat suggesting that you're secretly Casey Kasem with all
Duh.
these greatest golden oldie recommendations.
I cannot do his voice, and I've tried for so long, and it frustrates me, man. Oh, I used to do a lot of voices as a kid. I always wanted to be a voice actor. There's still time for me, but I feel like the amount of cigarettes I smoke, which aren't good for your health, okay? Everybody just putting that out there, will be a detriment to my future in that industry. And next up on the top 40 countdown, Dion and the Belmonts, I Wonder Why. Are we live by Geritol? Are they our sponsor?
I can neither
Confirm
confirm
or
nor
deny that.
deny the accuracy of these
Considering
statements.
they're a defunct company, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think the parent company is defunct, but that knowledge I do not have. I do know the product is no longer sold as Geritol.
Yeah, this will be on the quiz, so you guys
Yeah,
should
yeah,
probably be looking up the Wikipedia article for both Geritol and Casey Kasem. I'm gonna need to know the years he stopped and then restarted doing the top 40 countdown.
America's Top 40. And if you could, which movie starring Rafe Fiennes has Geritol as the product sponsor in the movie? Like, it's a occurring theme. And I think it's super weird because, like, his name is spelled Ralph, right? But he calls himself Rafe. And I've never understood that.
The L silent.
How is the L silent?
It's a good question.
That would be like calling a Lloyd Oid. I'm just gonna slide here forever. Okay.
We're moderate fans of sliding.
Yeah, I mean, I am, but I mean, what do I know?
I don't generally like to when I'm driving. You know, I like to be in control, but
Yeah, I understand.
when there's like things coming at you that you need to go under while still moving forward, a slide probably one of your best bets.
It's a good maneuver. I feel like it's underrated in like tactical defense.
Yeah, too many games with a dodge roll button, not enough dodge slides.
Not enough dodge slides, indeed. Which sounds like a really bad, like, American car. Coming this summer, 2020, the Dodge Slide.
I will say though, the game is called Runner, not Slider.
Slider. Well, you know what? Much like White Castle, after I've eaten it, it will be a slider. In more ways than one. Does anybody in chat watch darts? Did anybody watch the UK Open today? That's just my one odd question for chat.
They have darts? Really?
Yeah, British darts is fantastic.
I cannot say I've ever seen British darts.
You
or
are
darts.
well.
oh yeah,
you are
darts
missing out.
sports
Dude,
is
darts is
really really intense.
I played for the. I still play. I played for the last 10 years. It's been very
There
enjoyable.
was a recent whole like drama about tactical farting. Like I wish I was making this up.
That story was a couple years ago.
Oh,
and
that was really
the-
that long ago?
Yeah, and the best part about it was Gary Anderson, the Scotsman accused of said flatulence, came out and just went, and his interview had much more colorful wording than mine. And he's like, yeah, if I farted, I would have just come out and said it. I'm not afraid. So, to be fair, at least you have good sportsmanship about farting.
Yeah, no, I'm working on a prototype for a new tabletop RPG that uses a dartboard instead of dice. It's going to be really good.
Man, I feel like that'd be rigged for darts players, though, because, you know,
Just a little.
to be fair, a show of hands, how many people in the gaming community are avid dart enthusiasts?
Yeah, no, yeah, I got more holes in the drywall than the dartboard at home.
Okay,
so.
that's fair. That's fair. I will say I've played quite a few tournaments and won quite a few leagues, and I have a good time playing. It's a lot of fun. It's one of those things which you get into it and you can't stop doing it until you get good.
Yeah, no, I remember at one of my old jobs, we were on a road trip, and we went to this sports bar in Clear Lake, Iowa.
Ooh.
I think it was Clear Lake. It was in the middle of nowhere in Iowa. And
Well, isn't that everywhere in
Yeah,
Iowa?
yeah. Anyway,
Ah.
the point of the story is my coworker taught me like how to actually throw darts, and like I was getting into it for that one night, and then never again.
Never again. Yeah, I understand. I know a lot of people who have done stuff like that. It's just is what it is, I guess. You know, like for me, at the time that I started playing darts, I caught a part of the German Darts Masters. I think was the tournament, and all their tournaments have like these just obtuse names. But they decide. I was watching that, and I was like, you know what? I would really like to get into this, and so I bought a board while I was in college, and I just did not take my academics very seriously, started binge drinking, and played darts all the time.
So you say you've been playing for 10 years?
10 years, yep.
What's the number one advice you'd give for darts?
Just to keep at it, like consistently go at it. Like you are at first going to suck so badly that you're going to want to quit, and just keep doing it.
Yeah.
It's just repetitive.
My advice is if it feels like you're throwing the dart hard enough that it's going to go right through the board, you're actually not throwing it hard enough yet.
No,
That-
you may still be throwing too hard, depending on the person. I'm a taller guy, so I kind of like have to take a little off because otherwise I angle down a bit too much.
Right.
So like for me, I throw a little bit gentler than some people. But everybody has their own style too. If you think your throw looks weird, like go look up the weirdest dude that plays darts, and you'll be like, okay, it's not that bad.
Are there any like darts players who throw side hand like those baseball pitchers?
Menser Suljevic, he is an Austrian. He kind of does it. It's like a pseudo sidearm, I would call it.
I want to see like softball fast pitch dart where you do the full wind up and then go underhand.
It would be very difficult, I would say.
Yeah,
which
that would be very hard.
trajectory with that, not gonna be your friend. If anybody wants to know my favorite darts player, that will also be on the quiz. That is Michael van Gerwen, the world #1 from the Netherlands. I kind of feel bad. I have a controller, an Xbox controller, with a Netherlands sticker on it, and I did not bring it.
Oh, F's in the chat for that Xbox controller.
Is anybody else excited, by the way, that next week is the start of the Formula 1 season? Anybody excited?
Oh, we got at least one person on staff who's very excited for that.
Who's his favorite driver?
Oh, I wish I could tell you. He will be very excited to talk to you about that. Though.
Is it Lance Stroll? Because if it's Lance Stroll, I can't talk. I can't talk to him.
I know somebody who's probably excited for Lance Stroll.
Oh, why though? I'm sorry.
I don't know.
Lance Stroll is just the most bland milquetoast man to ever give an interview on television.
All right, so back on topic. What's your favorite darts game?
Cricket. I love me some cricket.
Cricket is pretty fun.
I used to like 01 more because I was more consistent, but now I'm all about the triples, man. I think my best cricket game was 12 dart out, and my best 01 game is a perfect game of 10 darts. I know you can do it in 9, but when you're playing the American style, you don't shoot at the triple, so 10 is really the best you can do. I know that's a technicality, but like Americans would consider that in plastic tip to be a perfect round. And it's only happened once, and then after that it kind of sucked. Did somebody just go running out of like the corner of my eye there?
Yeah, Finger Quick, he had to go do something.
Okay. Bye, Finger Quick. I'll miss you.
I'm really glad I managed to mute the microphone before it made too much noise there.
So, like, is this person going to be here before I go home in like 2 hours? The Formula 1 enthusiast?
The Flying Marlin. Yes. In fact, he is gonna be here like at the end of your run.
Oh, excellent. We will have a good time, I'm sure, chatting about how I hope Red Bull just kicks some butt this year. I think they could do well. Welcome to Speedrunning Sports Podcast. I am your host, Vagoo.
How do you feel about what is it, Formula E?
Formula E is super cool, and I need to watch more of it. And they do post their full races on Formula E YouTube. If you're interested in their races, they post them in full. Check them out. They're super cool.
For those of you not aware, Formula E is electric F1 cars, but also Mario Kart.
Yes, also Mario Kart.
You can actually like tweet at a driver, go faster, and it makes their car go faster.
Yes, but only like, isn't it only like the most popular driver?
Yeah, it's a poll they do, and then you get to vote
Oh,
for
I
who
wasn't
gets the
paying
power
attention.
boost. Yeah, we're distracting you.
Well, and then you can drive through like a power zone, like a F-Zero zone.
Yeah, it's like I was
yeah.
like they're a few steps away from it basically just being F-Zero.
F-Zero, yeah. It's super cool. And their circuits are pretty cool. I'm not paying. I gotta pay more attention. I'm sorry, guys. This is my bad.
No, this is perfect. We're distracting you so that we're far enough behind that we can drop my run, and I no longer have to play video games.
Are you for Dead Serial?
We're actually already far enough behind that I'm considering dropping my run.
Oh no, but that's infinite sads.
It will be sad, but getting the marathon back on schedule will be less sad.
Okay, I would agree then. I think I passed the checkpoint there. You don't get to kick this boss in the mush, and I think that's detrimental for me. And yes, I have said the mush. I really don't like this boss because stuff spawns so quickly, but I mean, what can you do about it, you know? My brother Charlie had prostatitis. What do you do about it? Oh yeah, you bop him with the blocks. That's right, okay.
Oh, is this the boss?
Yeah.
This is, yes.
This is a boss. And I can't believe I managed to forget about Finger Quick running Scrat's big move coming up next.
Nutty Adventure, dude.
No. It's Dr. Scratlove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Nut.
And love the bomb and love the nut. Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds like, you know, I'm not going anywhere with
No. It's the run after Scrat's big adventure that will have our Formula One aficionado taking part in it.
You know what? I do love Formula One. I'm so glad that I got reinterested in that after a bit of a hiatus. Well, is he a Renault fan by any chance? And I gotta stop screwing this up. I'm really just having the time of my life here right now. You know, what did I say? 25 bucks with like all the screw ups I've had? I think that's deserved at this point. And then there's $5 for hitting that bullseye. 25 bucks, charity. There you go. No, we're gonna get through this together, or I can quit, go to the next world, and just put this past me. But I think, as a matter of principle, I must do this. So I have a buddy at work that I call Seto Kaiba, and he calls me Mokuba. Is that normal for people? Do people do this?
That sounds about right for our age bracket.
Okay. Well, because I call him Seto.
Yeah.
Help, Pegasus has trapped me. You know, I do like the little voice, and it's cute, and my controller disconnects.
It's great. It's not your controller. It's
Well,
the table's
I
controller.
if I brought the Dutch one, this would have never happened.
Yeah, the Dutch controller would be saving everything.
Oh, I thought it was going to be another $5. You know, I missed on World 1. We're going to have to make sure we fully complete a level to give ourselves another opportunity. Because it's not fair, right? Like, all right, for the final world, we will use the Reverse Merman, and we'll use the Mecha Maui skin, because why not?
It makes sense to me.
I'm also a big wrestling fan, but I'm not going to talk about wrestling because I will be here tomorrow doing some wrestling talk with DJ Fatso.
That's going to be a run. If you're not excited for Backyard Wrestling 2,
You should be.
Yeah.
I've seen part of the run already, in person. Omega-3 fish oil. It's great for your heart, people.
This level is another bit trip game.
Oh my goodness, I'm just screwing up. Come on. I gotta get my brain together, alright? Should have had that monster, you know. You can't blame everything on lack of caffeine, you know. Don't do that, by the way. If you're an adult, don't blame everything on lack of caffeine, alright? Blame it on poor preparation because anxiety. Does chat have a topic they'd like some things about, or like? Please be appropriate as well.
Yeah. Actually, someone in chat, now that Gooby's here to talk about the McDonald's Play Place VHS,
Yeah.
someone said they had managed to collect 4 of them.
I had 5, and the 6th was never released wholesale. Thank you, whoever that is talking about the McDonald's films. What
And
is your favorite one?
they had a favorite, actually.
Is it Birthday World?
No, I want to say it had something to do with Grimace.
Oh, The Legend of Grimace Island, a classic. An absolute classic.
Absolute.
Craggle
that won the
boys.
Oscar for Best Picture that
Oh,
year,
it
didn't
definitely did, yeah. We'll see you live and in person at McDonald's when Ronald still made live appearances, which was creepy as crap, right? This dude dressed up as a clown and you're just trying to eat lunch.
hiding his identity,
Yeah.
coming up and talking to children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to eat lunch, and this dude I don't know comes up to me in a clown suit, you know? And then he wants me to sit on his lap? I'm not sure. You're
Whoa.
not Santa, man.
At least he's not trying to draw any V's on your forehead like the Vulcans. Wow, I couldn't even remember their name.
I mean, Vulcan was the Smith, so I don't know, I mean, what he would have to do with these. Oh, you're talking about Star Trek.
No, there's this thing called the St. Paul Winter Carnival.
Oh.
So back in the 1880s, someone made fun of St. Paul and said it was like frozen and nothing to do for most of the year. So for over 100 years, we've been really bitter about it and holding the St. Paul Winter Carnival, which is like a bunch of stuff to go do
Yeah,
outside
I
when
have
it's
been.
minus 20 degrees. And one of the things is there's this group of people called the Vulcans who ride around in like old-timey fire trucks and then jump out and then draw V's on people's foreheads.
They're at parades a lot.
Yeah, they're a staple at parades.
I was going to say, I've only been to the Winter Carnival once, but I have seen them at parades. They have fezzes on, and they're driving little like, modified go-karts.
It's like a weird
Yeah.
secret society kind of thing, cult, whatever you want to call it.
Look, a cult of people that wears fezzes and drives little mini go-karts. That's cool with me. I want to be
Yeah,
it.
the Shriners, yeah, they're great.
Illuminati? No. Go-karts? Yes. Yeah, answer me this. Do the Illuminati have go-karts? I didn't think so. Your point is moot. I mean,
Yeah, that's what they want you to think.
That's what we have the most high-powered go-karts to ever exist, you idiots.
Yeah, they have like fusion drives in their go-karts.
We have warp drives to go to outer space. I don't know why I did a John Travolta there. Like, he's clearly a Scientologist and not an Illuminati member. But maybe he is. Did you see my movie? I don't know why everybody hated it. Fred Durst did a great job directing. Oh, my God. I love Fred Durst. Does anybody else love Fred Durst? Do we have any Fred Durst fans?
Isn't Fred Durst the who is he?
The lead singer of Limp Bizkit?
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
He also directs movies now.
Really?
Just- Yeah.
What movies did Fred Durst direct?
What was the newest John Travolta movie?
You're asking the wrong person.
He plays a mentally handicapped guy who stalks a celebrity, and I can't think of the name of the film. And it was critically panned, and John Travolta's acting is so hammy, and it's bad, and like... Let's just say it's not a great portrayal in that community, and, you know... John Travolta.
John Travolta.
The last John Travolta movie I can remember him being in was that one where they're all driving on motorcycles, Wild Hogs or whatever. That's the last I can remember of John Travolta.
Wild Hogs?
Yeah,
Oh my god.
that's the last I can remember of John Travolta. I don't
I
know if there was
remember-
anything after that.
I remember his dark period where he played bad guys in action movies, like The Taking of Pelham 123, where Denzel Washington plays a hostage negotiator train rail operator.
Yeah, never seen it.
It's okay. I don't really think it's like great. It's not reinventing the Denzel Washington movie, but you know. What's your favorite Denzel Washington movie?
I actually am not sure, bro. I was gonna ask you. I was gonna say, what is
Hands
what would you say is John Travolta's like critically acclaimed #1 movie?
Oh,
It's gotta be
Grease. Obviously, Grease.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say like.
Obviously, Grease. I mean,
What's-
everybody knows John Travolta from Grease. Nothing like a 30-year-old man playing an 18-year-old, right?
What was that other movie he was in though?
Oh.
I can't remember. It had that Dick Dale song, Miserlou.
Oh, Pulp Fiction.
Yeah,
Pulp
Pulp
Fiction.
Fiction.
Your father, he wore this watch for 5 years. A redacted quote. You know, we were in a POW camp in Korea. Little Bruce Willis. I think I'm having too much fun with this. I'm sorry. As the Smiths would say, stop me if you think that you've heard this one before. Is everybody else having fun? You're having fun? I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Can I like take your little nap couch when you're done?
Yeah,
with it?
sure.
I think I'm gonna sit, but you know.
Whatever's more comfy.
So like what I was kind of mentioning earlier about this level is like, crap just seems to blend together, right?
No, I was gonna say when I came back and I saw this world, I was gonna say this world actually looks really sick.
It's super sick, but it's trippier than like all trip when you're super zoned and focused, and then like your brain just kind of like spaces, and you're like, oh, I'm dead. I don't know.
Oh, I see they changed the.
It's a stunning feat now, yeah. It's not an amazing accomplishment anymore, which it feels worse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're actually making better time than I thought. Like with all those screw ups on that boss, that was pretty gnarly.
Yeah, you mentioned the trippiness level, like the trippiness factor of this level.
The
it
bit
actually,
trippiness of
yeah,
the bit trip.
it's because it's 2 bit trip games going on at once. There, that's the original in the background. It's either the original or the sequel.
It's got to be the original because this is #2.
Well, this is Runner2. I thought there.
but this is the
Oh,
sequel.
I thought there was a Runner 1.
Yes, yeah, Bit Trip Runner, and this is Bit Trip presents Runner2.
You know, but
Future
isn't
Legend of
the
Runner.
background is from like the Bit Trip game? Bit Trips, the one
Oh
where
yeah,
the one where you're playing as a
the one
pong
where you're
paddle.
playing it. Yeah, okay. That's true. There was another Runner before this though. I was thinking you meant that. I'm out of my element with that one. I apologize.
Yeah, no, I remember being very excited for the original Bit Trip. I had seen trailers and I was like, wow, that looks so cool. It's like Pong meets Geometry Wars. Because that was back when we were like, oh, this game has colors. It's like Geometry Wars.
I apologize to no one for that. Like this is where like I break down every run, where I'm just starting to get to this fatigue of like watching the screen scroll, making my way downtown, walking fast. I'm not gonna walk downtown from here because it is like 8 miles, so like it's also probably not the best time to be walking around.
Also think like there isn't really a direct walkable path. I mean, you could take 394,
Yeah,
but
I
that is
could,
not
yeah.
recommended.
No,
at
no,
all.
no, certainly not. I mean, I do have a vehicle here. I could just use that. Fun fact, does my vehicle have whiskey plates? Fun fact. That's a true or false. We don't get to reveal the answer until later. You'll never know.
I'm
Well,
gonna,
we
I'm
will
gonna go
know.
out to the parking lot and just check, see if there's anything with whiskey plates.
Well, it's Minnesota. There's got to be at least 10
Yeah,
or
yeah.
12
There's
of
at
them.
least, yeah. For those of you unfamiliar, because
With the
apparently
Midwest.
this isn't a thing in a lot of states. Whiskey plates are special designations of license plates that people with repeat DUI offenses get.
AKA people from the Midwest.
Yeah, yeah. And it's actually not even just the people with the offenses. So like if you have a
Well,
household and someone needs it,
yeah,
then everyone
yeah.
in the household gets them. They're great.
Well, that depending on the title of the car.
Oh yeah. I guess
Yeah.
it's the who owns the title.
And it also depends on like if they are aware that you were allowed to use the car or not, or if they knew you were going to use it like that. Let's just say I know a lot about that. Maybe that's the true or false part. Maybe I'm studying to become a lawyer in that department.
What a twist.
The world will never know. And just letting you know, all of you, again, I'm not going to do like a pretend to be the legal eagle guy. I was going to do an Indochino plug. We're not going to do that. I feel like I've just been having a good time, and you know, I'm glad that I've been here doing the run. It's going to end very soon, like in like less than 20 minutes, so I mean...
I hope it ends in about 20 minutes.
It's going to. I think, you know, that's an underrated song. Frankie Valli's Grease, because we were talking about John Travolta. Underrated. It's a good titular track for that film.
Anyone here ever been to the Minnesota State Fair? There's that the diner there that once every day, every hour on the hour, the entire staff performs Grease Lightning. I can't imagine they like their job.
I mean, I think they do for like the first like couple days. They're like, oh yeah, this is sweet.
Yeah, I was a theater kid in high school, and then I had to stop doing it, and now I get to sing Grease Lightning. And then like the like 19th time they do it, they're like, why is the fair still going? And I mean, to be fair, I worked at the fair myself, and by the end of the fair, regardless of what you're doing, you want it to be over, even though it's only 12 days.
Well, there's only so much like animal feces and human feces you can smell in a contained area for like any limited amount of time.
Oh yeah, I was on the end down by the barns. It was just constantly wafting animal feces. It was quite the experience.
Well, and the thing is too, like these stink of the Porta John in the summertime. It gets pretty bad.
Yeah, as we talked about.
In the summertime, when the weather is hot, you can smell that Porta John. When the weather is fine, it gets boiling in there all the time. There you go. It's my Mungo Jerry one, all right? Gooby's clapping. Thank you, Gooby. You remember, does anybody remember that Valley Fair commercial that used the parody of In the Summertime?
I do remember that Valley Fair commercial.
Thank you.
I think I remember
Alright.
that.
Do they still use it? I don't really watch cable.
I have not seen a commercial for Valley Fair, and I have no idea how long.
Yeah, I feel like they haven't advertised that it exists since it got bought out.
Is it no longer Knott's, the ownership? I thought Knott's owned it for like the last 20 years or so. Or was that Cedar Point? Or was it not?
I realize I'm talking without other people hearing me. I think Cedar Point is the one who bought. I can't remember who owns it.
Yeah.
now,
Well,
but
because Knott's Berry Farm did own it.
Yeah,
for a
Knott's
time.
owned it, and now Cedar Point does.
Okay. Yeah, they might own Knott's, yeah. Well, because Knott's also used to own Camp Snoopy back when Camp Snoopy was an attraction at the Mall of America.
I do very clearly remember Knott's Camp. I'm pretty sure I have a picture of me riding the Pepsi Ripsaw
The
that
Pepsi
has
Ripsaw.
Knott's Camp Snoopy written on
Yeah.
it.
Oh, I love the Pepsi Ripsaw, man.
It's like, do they even have it anymore?
They do. It's just rebranded.
Oh, that's right. It's not even like a show. It's just the orange streak because
Did
they
they-
changed.
Did they have the Mystery Mine Ride there anymore?
Oh, I think that got replaced.
Oh, yeah, SpongeBob Coaster is there, right?
The Bikini Bottom plunge or Rock Bottom
Yeah,
plunge.
Rock Bottom Plunge, yeah.
Yeah. The Mystery Mine Ride was like a 4D like experience thing for those of y'all who didn't grow up in the 90s in Minnesota.
Did not visit
we gotta
Camp
remember we
Snoopy.
have the 3 million viewers on the Twitch.
Is that a real number? Or are
No,
you
no,
quoting
that's
me
that.
nonsense?
There might be 3 million people watching all Twitch streams right now.
Are there bots? Bots? Hello?
Oh yeah, we paid for a lot of bots.
69,000 people in the arena.
Everybody is here for the millions upon millions of rock fans. All right, so I have 5 levels left, so that should definitely be within 2 hours' time. Does anybody like Gordon Lightfoot? I feel like he's so underrated as a singer.
I very much appreciate the Ballad of the Edmund Fitzgerald. That's like the only Gordon Lightfoot song I know.
Do you know Sundown?
Can't say I do.
Oh, you'd know it if you heard it, I would assume. Maybe. That gets a lot of play on classic rock stations. I jumped way too early. Oh, this is just going poorly.
He has one about gambling, doesn't he?
Not that I'm aware of. There's a song Sundown, You Better Take Care If I Find You've Been Creeping Around My Back Stair. I feel like that has subtle things about, I'm not going to go into it. I need to focus. I need you to give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
What is it that you desire?
Just to finish this run. You know.
That's a banger song.
My fuel is pumping engines.
I already mentioned it.
I'm not gonna lie, I danced there on accident and it worked out, and I'm so happy. I'm so happy because today I became a fish, but still kept my legs. You guys have heard that one. That's a classic Nirvana jam.
Yeah, that one gets played on
All the time.
Yeah, all
It's
over
like
the radio.
it's like that Pearl Jam song, Black Hole Sun, a Pearl Jam classic. God, I love it. I hope somebody out there got really mad about that. I'm aware that's not who the song is by.
It's by Alice in Chains, actually.
Yeah, well, duh.
I thought that was a Beatles song.
No, the Beatles, they just copied it from some nameless 50s act.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's what the Beatles is. They just did covers, kind of like Nirvana.
Does anybody like need to know the etymology of my name, as we haven't touched on that at all?
While we're thinking about the etymology of your name, which
That's the bonus question on the quiz.
yeah, I'm not going to ask too many questions about that. It kind of speaks for itself to me, at least.
Well, maybe
we
you're
do
misinterpreting
have
it.
we do have a $5 donation.
$5.
Says it's another one from Bahamut X. Says all that sports talk earlier. I have to say,
Was
go
it
Packers.
Was it titillating? Was it stimulating? To
I-
be fair, American football is like my least favorite sport now. So sorry, though I am a Vikings fan by birth, I guess. It happens when you grow up in Minneapolis.
It kind of does. To me, at this point, I'm more of a fan of just watching either side be upset. Because it's like
Yeah, it
Schadenfreude,
is
or however
really
you
fun.
pronounce that word, and it's just great because they get really upset.
You know, when I was a kid, I was a Jacksonville Jaguars fan. And a lot of people, I think
My
that's
condolences.
weird. Oh, Mark Brunell and Fred Taylor, Keenan McCardell. You know, they had a good team, and then they did nothing with it, you know? Much like Minnesota sports every year.
Oh, yeah, no, so Minnesota sports does exactly what they're scripted to do. They are the jobbers of every
Oh, they are
professional
jobbers,
sports
they
league.
are jobbers.
They go up and then they lose to, like, the Yankees in round one. That's like what the Twins are there for.
You know, I'm really glad I decided not to wear, like, all of my Blackhawks gear and just went with something, like, neutral, like Boise State. I understand a lot of people in Minnesota do not like the Chicago Blackhawks.
I was actually a fan a while ago, but not so much anymore.
Thank you. That Chelsea's dagger in the background. Somebody get this guy mic'd up.
Yeah.
Get him mic'd
Yeah,
up.
get this guy mic'd up.
We have 3 levels left. Hooray.
3.
On the topic of sports, I think there was like a couple years ago during SGDQ, we went to go see local baseball game or whatever, the St. Paul Saints, and they got completely creamed. That
But
was
you had
pretty
fun, didn't you?
Yeah, we had fun watching them get owned.
Did
The-
you,
the
did
St.
they,
Paul-
did they play the Sioux Falls Fighting Canaries by any chance?
I'm not sure. I think this was like 2018.
I don't even know if they're in the same league, honestly. Maybe I should.
I've been to a lot of Saints games. The stadium used to be like down the street from my house, so we got taken there a lot as kids. I
Oh,
don't
Midway
remember
Park?
ever playing against that team.
Midway Park.
Yeah, Midway Park's great. Now
I
it's like a
have
warehouse
not.
somewhere.
I have not been to CHS Field yet, but I've heard it's really.
I have
nice.
also not been to CHS Field, but I mean the in between inning shenanigans at a St. Paul Saints game.
Oh, they're fantastic.
They're
yeah.
they're basically who taught me how to run a speedrun event. Like that's the same idea. Like I'm pretty sure the Saints would let you donate to throw a Kirby at the pitcher.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Look, we're gonna like put a kebab through his ear holes. What? Yes, we're gonna pierce his ears while he's pitching. Oh my God. That's the bonus question. How did I get my name? And if you're thinking along the lines as our behind-the-scenes narrator here, Charles Martinet, maybe you're right, maybe not. How would I know?
Woohoo!
The answer may surprise you.
That's my best Charles Martinet. It's really bad. I don't do
Well,
impressions.
that's Charles Martinet doing Mario.
That's a good point.
So is it really Charles Martinet? So this is the longest level, and I'm going to try super hard not to screw this up. I think there's 4 checkpoints instead of 1 or 3 because they the developer realized hey, we've made this 4 times longer than the other ones. To test you, let's not screw with you too much and give you extra checkpoints.
It's the big build-up before the final boss.
You know what? I've already skipped gold pieces. This was the level I wanted to show off and get all the gold in, and it's too late now.
You were just in the zone, and we're like, oh, I got to speed run. Got to
Get
skip
in
the
zone,
gold. And
dude,
you're
auto zone. You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying.
Well, it's too late, baby. Now it's too late. Though I really did want to make the cannon. We'll get one more cannon shot here eventually. I mean, we only have $5 out of the cannons and 25 out of my own pocket for being garbage. And yeah, other than that, I don't know what else we have. By the way, if you didn't notice, the reverse merman slides forward instead of on his tuchus. He slides on his tummy.
As all mermans do.
They learned it from the penguins.
To be fair, fish don't have hind legs, so he's in a league of his own here anyway.
He is kind of a flop too. I really like it.
Yeah, he's got his own style. I mean, to be fair, when you're the first of your kind, you kind of gotta learn the ropes. You don't really get a manual. Humans have all these years of collective intelligence to build off of, right?
Yeah,
And,
I didn't get the manual though. We got a manual. I must
Well-
have bought my copy used
Well,
because it did not come with a
genetically,
manual.
you come with these sort of evolutionarily learned
Yeah,
traits.
I suppose.
We have 7 minutes to get through this boss. Let's go. I'm glad I put the estimate at 2 hours because
Yeah.
the game is definitely doable in 145, but I'm having a good time. I don't want to stop at all. Cliched Queen
Yeah,
song.
I'm glad you said that next because I was about to.
You were about to, yeah. Look, I am not a rocket ship. I am just a man. Least favorite boss fight is right now. I absolutely hate this one because you're going the opposite direction that you've gone all game. And there I went this direction on the button, and when I was supposed to go that direction.
Oh no.
Which, to be fair, they work, but your brain doesn't want them to work, so.
So is this a spider?
Yeah, I guess he's
It's
weird.
got. It looks like it's got 6 legs though. So is it an?
It's a weird Spoderman that's organic
never
as
mind.
well, though.
It's got 8. It's a spider.
He's got organic components inside of him, right?
Looks like it.
It's
There's a slide
General
drill.
Grievous.
That was a grievous error, one could say. I won't even do General Grievous's voice, or I won't try. Oh my god. Can I get some Keck W's in chat, please? Oh my god, I forgot about all this nonsense blocking and stuff at the end of this. I'm just ready to be done, you stupid boss fight. I think this is the last phase, and I could be wrong. Look, I still belong, don't get me wrong. You can speak your mind, but not on my time. If anybody wants to go out there for a fun time, go listen to They Might Be Giants, Someone Keeps Moving My Chair, and you will feel pretty good. We're going to be approaching time here after I shoot the cannon. So whenever you're ready with time, I'm going to shoot this final cannon, and this could be for $5 more. Bam, let's go, bullseye.
God.
That's time right there, the last bullseye. I think that's what we counted it at on my other run. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Who cares?
That was Runner2. That was me rambling on about topics that people don't find interesting for 2 hours.
I found it fantastically
Thank
interesting.
you. Gonna go have some nicotine, everybody. Have a great day.
Yay.